Scream Factory is having a Valentine's Day sale with 1 day left to go. If you haven't participated and you don't know what to pick up, tune in for today's video where I give you 15 films you don't want to miss during this sale. Let's go. How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another episode here at Figure Out Films. I'm your host, as always, Chris. And if you're returning back, thank you for coming back. We really appreciate the support here. And we're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. So if you are new to this channel and you have not hit that subscribe button, we'd love to have you in the community. Love to see you down in the comments below. So please, if you like anything horror, sci-fi, physical media, action figure collecting, consider hitting that subscribe button here at Figure Out Films. So today, like I said in the intro, that Scream Factory is having a Valentine's Day sale, and this video might be coming a little late because at the time of this posting, the sale will end tomorrow on Monday. So if you don't know what to pick up and you're new to Scream Factory collecting, you don't know if you should pick it up or wait for a 4K or anything like that, hopefully these 15 films that I recommend are films you should consider picking up for this sale. Let me know down in the comments if you did participate and you picked some stuff up that I missed on this list. Let me know down in the comments below. So to first start, I'm going to go ahead with the films that I don't actually own physically, and I should probably change that during this sale, but at least I've seen these movies as well. So the first one on the list I'm going to go with is In the Mouth of Madness. This is a John Carpenter film starring Sam Neill. Yes, Jurassic Park's Sam Neill. He starts in this film by John Carpenter, which is basically a Lovecraftian film where essentially Sam Neill's character is a insurance agent who goes to find this author who's produced a bunch of famous supernatural horror books. He goes to a small town, and I believe it's in New Hampshire or in the East Coast, and tries to find the author, when all of a sudden he gets to this small town and discovers supernatural horrors that are in the vein of H.P. Lovecraft, Craftian horror, and the supernatural, and he can't distinguish between reality and the supernatural. It has some great practical effects, some amazing visuals as well. This is one of those John Carpenter movies that I think gets swept under the rug a little bit. So I would definitely check it out. You can get it for right now during the sale, and it's only on Blu-ray, so you don't have to worry about if there's a 4K or not coming out. The Blu-ray is good. The movie is great as well, so I highly recommend you check that out. Next on my pick is a very rewatchable, very enjoyable movie, and actually I checked on Amazon's listing not that long ago, and I couldn't find a decent price on the Blu-ray standard, so might as well pick up the Scream Factory because of the extra features and the cool cover. I am of course talking about Idle Hands. Idle Hands is a horror comedy stoner film that stars Devon Sawa. It's a 90s movie. It also has Seth Green, and basically the devil's hand is out on the loose, and it is trying to basically take someone's body, and the stoner friends are coming around trying to find the hand, and it's jokes galore. There's some very good horror and gore as well in this movie. It's one of those time capsule movies that I always think about that is very rewatchable and very enjoyable, and it doesn't it doesn't cut in the horror, even though it's a comedy movie. It's genuinely a pretty good movie, as well as having a very young Jessica Alba in the movie, one of her first roles. So that's always fun to see. You get some great comedy. I mean, it's a stoner high school movie. So if you have not seen Idle Hands, I would definitely check this movie out. I guarantee that you'll more than likely find some enjoyment in this. And you can pick it up for like $15 during the sale right now. No slipcover, I don't think. Again, I don't own it, and I plan to possibly change it during this sale too. So if you've seen Idle Hands, let me know your thoughts on it. I definitely recommend it. Next on the list is a movie I've seen one time, but honestly, it was pretty enjoyable, and it's kind of a hard movie to watch. I think it's only available streaming, and there's only a DVD, so it finally has a Blu-ray through Scream Factory. That is, of course, the movie The Ghost and the Darkness. The Ghost and the Darkness is a movie starring Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas. They both star in this 90s movie about the two lions in Africa who were viciously killing workers who were working on a bridge, or I believe it was, in Africa, and there was no rhyme or reason. There was still a mystery about what drove these lions to madness, and basically the two are hunters and trying to find the lions. It's pretty enjoyable. It's one of those great like 90s mid-budget films that has some good scares and some good drama and characters that you watch. The historical accuracy might not be completely there, but the parts with the lions mauling people is pretty entertaining. And you basically get like a showdown at the end with the hunters and the lions. So it's a movie I don't think many people know about and or have checked it out before. So I was lucky enough to watch it, get exposed to it, and I think it's pretty good. And if you ever want to see the actual lions from the movie, if you go to the Chicago History Museum, you can actually see the lions on display there. So that's also another plus. So go watch the movie and then make a trip to go check it out stuff after. So if you've not seen Ghost in the Dark, it's one of those 90s capsule films that I definitely need to check out. And I was shocked that it was on the Scream Factory catalog, and it's available on this sale for only $15 as well. So don't forget to check that out. Next is a movie that's so good, but it's a little bit expensive and pricey for being on sale. I'm talking about the early 2000s film, Urban Legend, starring Jared Leto. Honestly, one of the few good Jared Leto roles, probably his best, is Urban Legend here on Blu-ray. It is $18, but I think it's still worth it. I don't think you can get the slipcover with it. But if you've never seen Urban Legend, essentially it's one of those I Know What You Did Last Summer type films, but it's also kind of like a pseudo Scream copycat film, but it still maintains its own. It holds its own against those type of inspiration films. But basically these college students are working for a school newspaper. They're trying to find legitimacy in the reports of a urban legend killer. If you don't know what urban legends, it's like those tales that like, oh, there was someone behind someone's car that would come and like, strangle them or kidnap them, and other things like, oh, don't do that because then there's gonna be a bad accident that happens. And essentially that urban legend killer is fulfilling those urban legends. It's pretty entertaining. It's a great slasher, great characters. They're really enjoyable to hang out with, and the reveal is pretty it's pretty entertaining as well. Like I said, he takes a lot of inspirations from some great movies and holds its own too. So if you've not seen Urban Legend, I would say you definitely need to pick this up. And then next is a movie that I actually saw recently, a couple months back, and I really enjoyed it, and I knew I needed to pick up the Scream Factory at some point. Haven't done that yet, but that is the 2000s House of Wax remake. House of Wax starring Chad Michael Murray and Paris Hilton as well, amongst others. Basically, this movie is a remake from a William Castle film where the premise of the movie is that these friends are going to a football game. I think it's like the Super Bowl, and they get caught in like the backwoods trying to take a shortcut, and they run to this small town where it seems somewhat deserted and everyone acts weird, and then there's an actual house built of wax, and there was an accident that happened there as well. It's pretty entertaining. It's very of its time. I was told that this was a movie that's promoted because you could see Paris Hilton die, which is kind of creepy when you think about it in a vacuum now. But I guess at the time in the early 2000s, people really hated Paris Hilton and wanted to see her dead. I actually enjoyed her character, but this is basically a movie like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they're in the backwoods and they run into something they probably shouldn't have, and basically have to survive it. I really enjoy House of Wax. I like the dialogue. I like the actors. I think they're really entertaining. This is a time capsule movie, but honestly, I think it's a movie that gets hated on because of the time it's released. And if you go back and watch it now, you'd probably be thinking, man, they don't make them like this anymore. So I would recommend, as if you've not seen House of Wax before, to check it out. I think you can get it as a cheaper Blu-ray as well on like a combo pack. But the Scream Factory release does look super cool and it has some of those special features. And I think it's only $15 as well. So House of Wax for a blind buy, if you need to reach to get that free shipping, I would definitely consider throwing that in your cart. All right, coming in with the physical movies, I'm going to go next with The Hills Run Red. So this is a movie I think I've talked about before on the channel, but basically this is a movie where another urban legend kind of story. These horror fanatics want to go to this location where a horror movie was filmed that was super gory and thought to be lost in time, and it turns out it was actually a snuff film, and the killer actually does exist. They can't tell if they're actually on the set and they're just being part of this prank, or like there's the actual killer trying to kill them. Basically, it's trying to build this mass killer homage to 80s mass killers with the Babyface killer. I believe it's called Babyface. And it's a pretty gruesome, gory movie. I think this is another 2000s movie that got swept under the rug. This came out in, I think, 2009. The Hills Run Red. This would be a great first-time watch to check out, and I think there's some replay value in this as well. You get a genuinely good slasher movie with The Hills Run Red. Coming up next is a movie that I think it's a safe option to buy if you like this movie, Dawn of the Dead. This is Zack Snyder. Yes, the Zack Snyder did a George A. Romero remake of the Dawn of the Dead movie. I absolutely love this movie. I think this movie holds up so much. It also is different enough to keep a distance from the original, while also taking some inspiration too, so it doesn't feel like you're double dipping. Dawn of the Dead is so good. I have this here on Blu-ray, but it did get a 4K release that you can pick up. Both the Blu-ray and the 4K are on sale right now. However, this is where I'm going to word of caution you. Okay. Now, if the movie is made in the 2000s and it was shot digitally, like this did with a 2K digital remaster, that 4K really won't have that much of a difference. It's a 4K scan from a digital film. Not to say that this movie's ugly or anything. I think this movie was shot very well at its time and still holds up well now. I think the Blu-ray, I've seen this, looks great. It's not the most super colorful film either, so I don't feel like you're getting a lot with the HDR. I think maybe if it has like the Dolby Atmos, maybe that might be worth it, but I do not think it does. So unless you really want the 4K with the slipcover, which is the same as this, then maybe you can consider it. But if you want to save some money and still get a great release, I think this Blu-ray is worth it. I love Dawn of the Dead. There's some great creepiness that holds out. And yeah, it's just a great movie. So Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Next is a great movie that, again, comes from an amazing director. Not only was I just talking to Zack Snyder, but now I'm talking Sam Raimi. Drag Me to Hell. This is a great movie. It's currently on sale. You don't think you can get it with the slipcover anymore, but Drag Me to Hell is a great Sam Raimi movie about this. Basically, this banker, she denies, I think, helping an older woman with like her rent or with getting a personal loan, and she places a curse on the woman, and basically she's being chased by demons from hell to go to hell. Essentially, the old lady said, go to hell, and she's basically trying to get this curse lifted from her and apologize to this old woman that she was just terrible to. There's no 4K. This is a great looking movie. You could get a standard, Blu-ray release, but you get all these great special features. Plus you get an unrated cut and theatrical cut with this. However, I do think this one might set you back a little bit. It is $17.99, and I don't think you get the slipcover with it anymore, but it's still a great movie. I understand if it's a little pricey, but this is a really good movie, and I do recommend, if you have not checked this out, to watch it at least, and then come and get the Blu-ray. So next up is Drag Me to Hell. Up next is another movie that I absolutely love that I talked about on this channel. That is Tales from the Dark Side. Tales from the Dark Side is a 3-film anthology movie. One of the best anthology movies out there, honestly. You get so many cameos from actors like anywhere from Steve Buscemi all the way to Christian Slater. This is a great time. This is a great movie. I'm not going to spoil too much about each one, but you get one with Steve Buscemi with the mummy. You get a gargoyle story, and you get a very insane mobster trying to kill a cat, basically. Segment in this. Overall, it's a great movie. Tales from the Dark Side is just such an enjoyable movie that gets better on rewatch. You can get it with this kind of cover. I don't think you can get the slipcover anymore, but you can get this for pretty cheap. I think it's a $15 Blu-ray right now. However, there is a 4K release that's on sale, about $20. That's the sale price there. But if you use the code SHOUT10, you do get 10% off as well. I did have the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray was really great too. If you don't have a high-end TV or a 4K player, the Blu-ray will be just as fine. You do get the Blu-ray with the 4K. However, I will say if you want a future-proof, but not essential, but still an amazing movie, just get your hands on it some way you can. Next is a 4K movie I do think you actually need to upgrade to, and it's actually on sale for a pretty good price right now, and that is Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness. I have the Steelbook here, which is actually on sale. I had the Blu-ray for a long time, but this 4K blows it out of the water, and you get so much bang for your buck with this. So not only do you get this really cool Steelbook of Army of Darkness, but you also get the 4K theatrical release, you get the Blu-ray theatrical release, you get the Blu-ray director's cut, and you get, for disc 4, the Blu-ray international television cut. All for like $20 on sale right now. This is one of the more accessible, affordable 4K upgrades, and I think it's an essential 4K upgrade because it's a 4K scan. Great movie with rewatchability. I highly recommend you check this out. This is almost an essential pickup during the sale if you don't own it already. Just keeping it going with Sam Raimi, because there's a lot of Raimi in the catalog. That is Darkman. If you've not seen Darkman, this is a 90s superhero movie that Sam Raimi wanted to do, I think, a movie of The Shadow, but couldn't get the rights to it, so he made his own character called Darkman. It stars Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand as well. I love Darkman. This is kind of like pulpy. It's very 90s. It's got that great cheese to it, and also it's just a universal monster blend superhero movie, almost like Phantom of the Opera esque as well, as Liam Neeson goes crazy after an accident from gangsters and trying to recover his old self after being burnt to a crisp. Darkman is so good. I actually just rewatched it. You can get the new 4K Steelbook and 4K standard release that comes with the Blu-ray, I believe. Right now during the sale, it's about $20. However, I do plan to upgrade this at some point. If you just got the standard Blu-ray with this cool artwork, you can still get this for $12.99 during the sale. And honestly, this is a good Blu-ray. Just rewatched it, like I said, a couple days ago to see if I need to upgrade it. I do want to at some point. That's just me, but the Blu-ray is going to hold me over until probably the next sale. So if you've not seen Darkman, I do recommend you do pick it up. There are the sequels as well. But I would watch Darkman first and see if you want to continue on with the movies, because those are actually on sale as well. So a lot of Darkman. Don't get the super expensive one unless you need all the pins and posters and everything. The 4K by itself would be fine, or even the cheaper Blu-ray. That's much better than the standard Blu-ray. However, the 4K is a 4K scan of the original negative supervised by Sam Raimi, so that is pretty tempting. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge as long as you pick up Darkman. Coming in next is another movie that it's always on sale. It's super cheap. It's $12. Of course, I'm talking about Lake Placid. Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, and a very funny Betty White in this movie about a vicious rogue alligator, or is it a crocodile, that's going crazy, and Lake Placid. Yeah, I mean, it's just a fun monster movie from the late 90s that, I mean, it's just so cheap. It's like $12, I think. This is super cheap. You can always get it for cheap. If you don't own it, just go ahead and snag it. If not, it's always going to be on sale anyway. Next is another anthology horror movie that it's a personal pick for me. Like, this isn't essential, but it is a very great movie, and you can get it for pretty cheap during the sale. I'm going with John Carpenter's Body Bags. I like Body Bags. I know this isn't for everyone, but basically you get a Mark Hamill baseball skit, you get Wes Craven in an opening skit, John Carpenter host. Yeah, it's just a great time. It's also directed by Texas Chainsaw Massacre legend Tobe Hooper as well. You get some great skits. I love John Carpenter as the host in this anthology horror movie. It's not for everyone, but if you like horror, if you're deep in the trenches of anthology horror movies, I think Body Bags would be a safe bet pickup. And again, it's pretty inexpensive as well. Next is a 4K upgrade, but you can also get the Blu-ray. If you don't own this already, this is an essential 4K upgrade from Scream Factory. That is Candyman. I have the 4K here with the Scream Blu-ray slipcover, but if you can at least get the 4K, you do get the slipcover with it. The Blu-ray, which has this cover, is pretty dirt cheap, and I would say this 4K, I think, is just at $20 as well. Would be worth the upgrade. You get the Blu-ray and you get the 4K, original 4K scan of the negative, supervised by Bernard Rose, the director, as well. This is just a great movie that sounds and looks great. I've watched this on the Blu-ray and on the 4K, and it's totally worth the upgrade. And it's just an essential horror movie. So if you don't own this, I highly recommend you do get Candyman. But I do think it's one of those Blu-ray to upgrade to 4Ks that you will see a noticeable difference on. And finally, this thing is constantly being begged to be bought. And if you have not bought this already, I still recommend you do pick it up. That is the Friday the 13th box set here. It's like down to $80. Such a good deal for awesome movies on Blu-ray. If you do want to upgrade some of them to 4K, eventually you can just throw them in here and so encase them. This box is still one of the best releases from Scream Factory, and the fact that you can get it for like $80, I think, right now is definitely worth it. So if you have not picked up the Friday the 13th box set where you get all of them together, which I still can't believe they got the chance to do this and do it right, is a sight to behold. So do pick up the Friday the 13th box set if you have not. And that's going to do it here. Those for the 15 Scream Factory movies I recommend you pick up during this sale. If I missed any, please let me know down in the comments below. What are your thoughts? If you did pick up some things, let me know down in the comments. What was in that cart? What did I miss out? What should I check out as well? I love to hear that from the community. If you are new, again, I'll remind you, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're so close to 1,000 as we get to the road to 1,000. Can't wait to do a celebration on that. And if you are returning, thank you again for your continued support. I do appreciate it. But that'll do us here at Figure Out Films. My name is Chris, as always, and remember, if you are not buying physical media boutique label movies, do you really care about cinema? Other than that, I'll see you next time.